We just can't stop beating Tottenham, can we? Amazing atmosphere at the bridge. Awesome 1-0 win. Back in top four. Let's go, Chelsea. All right, everyone. Welcome back to American Blues Podcast. It's been a bit. I was in London. I was able to go to the Arsenal Chelsea game, even though it was a bad result. Man, was it fun. But let's start with the most recent game, Chelsea Tottenham at the bridge. What is it? Only one win in the last 40 games for Tottenham at Stamford Bridge. I mean, it's like they know they're not going to win. And I feel like, unfortunately, I feel like this is how we kind of played against City. Like, we just don't have the confidence to beat them. And Tottenham just do not look like they have the confidence to beat us. And you know what? I'm not complaining. I think both teams started off with really strong lineups. No more excuses for Tottenham. Most of your injured players are back, except for Kulusevski, which fair enough, that might be your best player, but still, plenty of good players on that team. But man, we controlled that game basically from minute 0 till maybe 89th minute, where we had almost gave up a goal, and then we controlled the rest. So overall, I thought it was a fantastic game. I've seen some negativity online with like, oh, it was kind of poor. The quality wasn't there. I thought we were fantastic. I thought we came in with a solid game plan. We changed up the way we normally play to play against Tottenham, which is what I want to see. Everyone knows Tottenham plays a high line. There's no reason to slow down play. We need to hit them in behind. And that's exactly what I did. It was like, a minute and a half before Trevor Chelesa, amazing long pass to Nicholas Jackson, who got on the ball. Unfortunately, unlucky bounce off his shoulder onto his foot, went straight into the goalie. Almost went into the goal too after Venven put it against Jackson again and it hit the post. But again, we kind of set the tone from just minute 1. We're going to be fast. We're going to be direct. We're going to hit them on the break. We're going to play in behind. Everything that I want to see against Tottenham, we were doing first half, second half. I would say, honestly, everybody performed today, except for Jadon Sancho, but we'll talk about the negatives at the very end because there's just so many positives. I thought number 1, Caicedo, what a beast of a player. My God. I think it's pretty evident, not just to us, Chelsea fans, we've known how good Caicedo is for a year and a half now. He's really shown his quality basically for a long, long time. And the rest of the league and the pundits are finally catching up. Nobody's really talking about his price tag anymore. Nobody's mentioning that he's the most expensive midfielder as a negative. He is living up to his price. He is a one-man destroyer in midfield. And honestly, I thought my heart sank when he almost got injured. He got a dead leg. I thought he was goner. He had to take the rest of the game out. But you know what? He walked it off. And again, just putting in tackle after tackle, covering so much space. And you know what? I count that goal that he scored. I'm sorry. It looked maybe marginally offsides to the naked eye, but the way they drew that line with VAR was just embarrassing. Like on TV, when we were watching it, they were zooming in to see if Kola was offside, and they zoomed in so far that it essentially turned into a blurry ass like 120p image. And I'm just like, at that point, what are you doing? What are you even drawing lines off of? Your pixel is so large at that point. Like, there's no corner off of like the defender's shoulder or Kola's shoulder to even compare against. This is silly. This is stupid. So VAR, I thought it was just on that. But you know what? Fair enough. If it were to the naked eye, he did look marginally offside. So whatever. Again, second screamer goal that Caicedo has gotten taken away from him. Apparently, he only knows how to score volleys and screamers. So hopefully one day he will actually get a goal that sticks, kind of like at the end of last season when he hit it from 60 yards out. And then another big VAR controversy. Sarr got the ball off of Caicedo by kicking him in the knee and then scoring. Yes, Sanchez probably should have saved that, but I think nobody expected him to hit it from 30 yards out with that much pace. That was a big surprise. But again, I always think if the goalie can get a hand on it, they should be saving it. But I'm glad VAR reviewed that. What I thought was embarrassing was just how long VAR spent reviewing that one. He spent, 4 or 5 minutes looking at that slow motion? Ridiculous. Look, it was a high challenge, studs out, onto Caicedo's knee. raking. That's an automatic red card. It should have been a red card. I thought the yellow was embarrassing. I thought it should have been a red card for sure. And I don't think anybody could have blamed him if he gave a red for it. But I think Sarr should have been off. But you know what? No matter. And what I loved seeing was at the end of the game, 1-0 lead. This whole season we have been unable to hold on to 1-0 leads. Just can't do it. Just cannot seem to do it. But man, the crowd got behind the players' back. We put on defenders. We subbed off pretty much our entire offense went off. Put on Tosin, put on Kieran Dewsbury Hall for fresh legs, put on James. And I think everyone did an amazing job defending at the end. Even Robert Sanchez. I think apart from the goal that was taken away, I thought Sanchez probably had one of his best games that I can remember in a very long time. He was solid at the back. He was strong with his punches. He collected the balls. He made one incredible save at the very end against Song. Diving, last-ditch effort save that he got, saved the game for us. And it was so good that if you watch the replay, Cole had his hand on his head, mouth open, because he couldn't even believe how good of a save that was by Sanchez. So, credit where credit is due. Sanchez did a really good job. I don't think he had a single ball that went to a Tottenham player erroneously. He hit several really good long balls out to start our attack. So, Robert Sanchez, kudos to you. Good job, even with all the criticism, even though I don't think you should be starting any game again. I think you should be leaving in summer. Still, you did a fantastic job against Tottenham. So if you keep that up, if facts change, opinions change, And another person I want to shout out is, of course, Enzo and Palmer. Palmer's gotten so much stick, no goals or assists in 8 or 9 games in a really long time. And today it was just cross after cross where it was just overhit by Neto. Sancho being slow on the ball, really indecisive when literally every single other person on the team was flying at 11. Sancho was the one person who's taking extra touches, cutting inside, being too predictable, just destroying basically every single play that he was a part of. And finally, when Cole Palmer got the ball on the outside, I was like, please, for the love of God, he's the only person who is able to put in a good cross. And what do? Pinpoint, perfect cross right onto Enzo's head. Absolutely nothing Vicario can do. And I thought Enzo's movement for the goal was fantastic. He started off in front of Van de Ven, and then he just snuck out in behind him. And another thing that's positive is look at what Jackson can do. He drew both defenders wanted to cover Jackson because even though he's not the strongest in the air, he is still a little bit more of a box presence than if someone like Nkuku or Neto were there. So that gave Enzo the space to sneak in behind, middle of the box, open header, easy goal. And I thought, we had plenty of other chances too. I thought Vicario had an unbelievable game for Tottenham, just worldly saves. His one save against Sancho was amazing. He hit it, Sancho hit it actually with pace, right foot. It was going into the top corner, and somehow Vicario just got his hand onto it and was able to push over the bar. Amazing save. There was another chance early on first half where Palmer was on the edge. He hit a really nice low cross to Enzo, and I don't know what happened. I think maybe it was just a little bit behind him, so it went through Enzo's legs, and then ended up getting caught on the line by Vicario. But again, without Vicario, I think we would have easily won that game 3-4-0. But yeah, overall, amazing performance. Just huge shout outs to Caicedo, to Palmer, to Enzo. What absolute beasts. Now, I do want to spend a little time and talk about my Arsenal Chelsea experience. Number one, super thankful we were able to go. Initially my wife was supposed to go on the trip with myself and my son, but unfortunately she got sick right before the trip started, so she didn't feel like she could, walk around, tour a few different cities. So she stayed home, but ended up surprising us with tickets to the Arsenal Chelsea game. Initially, I was a little upset with just how expensive they were, but you know what? In retrospect, I don't think in 5-10 years I'll give one shit about how much that cost. That was a dream come true experience for me. So big shout out to the wife. Thank you so much. It's been an absolute goal of mine to watch a game with my son in London, watch Chelsea play. Only thing is, too bad it wasn't at the bridge. That would have been just the icing on the cake, but it didn't matter. We were able to be in the away section with other Chelsea supporters. And that was just even though the game was not great, we didn't play all that well. It was still quite an experience, and I loved every single second of it. And we absolutely froze our asses off. Oh my God, I did not think it was going to be that cold in the Arsenal Stadium. And it just kept getting colder and colder as the game went on. But I will say one thing from watching the game in person versus TV, it is such a different experience. We were pretty close to the pitch. We could see every single player. That was amazing. But what was really interesting to see was that, basically the entire away section was behind the team, except for whenever Nkuku got on the ball and just did absolutely nothing. It was very evident in person that everyone on the team was giving it their all, everything they had, kind of except for Nkunku. He was a little indecisive, kind of bad at carrying the ball, didn't really add anything to attack, wasn't running in behind, definitely was not pressing. My God, you could really tell the lack of pressing from him in person. It's just obvious, super obvious. And another thing that really stood out is, even though the game was terrible, just an awful result, losing to Arsenal, and a very beatable Arsenal team too, not having Palmer. And that game, we weren't even close. Arsenal had chance after chance after chance that they just were missing. Hitting over the bar, hitting over the side. And we really just had one chance by Cucurella that just got saved on the line and unlucky. But besides that, I didn't feel like we really created anything. So I'm not sure what Maresca was saying after the game, that he thought maybe we were pretty even for the majority of, after the first 20 minutes or so. No, I don't think we were even at all. I thought we got thoroughly beat by Arsenal. We didn't really have a plan. We weren't really motivated. And you could tell that on the pitch. But what I want to say is, at the end, I don't think anyone can say that Enzo or Caicedo don't care. Because at the end of the game, even though we lost, Enzo was the first one coming over to the wayside to apologize, to clap the fans. And, there were other players that followed suit. Cucurella was right behind him. Caicedo was right alongside him. James was there, but he seemed pretty down. He was already in his cool down gear. And everyone's kind of came over and clapped a little bit, but I do want to shout out Enzo and Caicedo, these two midfielders that everyone blames us. Everyone gave us so much shit for paying over 200 million for these two. My God, these two care, and they deeply care about this team. And no matter what, no matter how the team plays, that means pretty much more to me sitting in the fans, with the fans, than anything else. For us to be there in the freezing cold, away stadium, watch an awful game, losing to a bitter rival, getting out of top four, just so many things that were negative. But watching them come over and apologize to the fans and clap and stand up for that, it made the experience 100 times better, and it made me proud to watch them in person despite the performance. So I have a little video of it that I'm going to play right now of that part. But yeah, it was just, no matter the result, all I will ever remember from that game is being able to share that moment with my son. Hopefully he enjoyed it, and that we got to see these players in this club that I absolutely love in person. And that is just an unforgettable experience for me. And of course, we got to tour Stamford Bridge too, which I haven't done in many, many years. And I didn't realize they added a whole museum to the back and a trophy room and everything. And it was fun. It was fun. The bridge looks a little bit different than what I remember. The tour was actually a little bit different too, compared to when I went in 2012 or something like that. It's been a while. So that was quite the experience, and I loved every single moment of it. So super thankful. Hopefully in the future I'll get another chance to go and maybe go to another game at the bridge. That would be fun again, but we will see. That's a memory there that I will cherish probably for the rest of my life. Amazing. But 8 games left in the season. We have Brentford this weekend. We need to put in a performance in every single game. We cannot drop points. This is a must get Champions League run. This is every game is a final. Forget about everything else. This is what we need. We need to get into the top 4, and we are in there right now. So we need to keep our position because we cannot accept being out of it with the amount of money and amount of players that are good that we have. And we cannot expect Newcastle or City to do us any favors. And it would be really, really, really nice if, my God, somebody made Nottingham Forest drop points. Like, please make them drop some points so maybe we can sneak into number 3 and make you feel a little bit less nervous. But yeah, it's do or die every single game. But as long as we perform like the way we did against Tottenham, I think we got this in the bag. So really tough game this weekend against Brentford. Another derby, really tough team. This one's definitely way harder for us because they like to defend. And you know what we're like against teams that like to defend. So yeah, can't wait for the next game. Very excited, very nervous. Let's make the best out of the rest of the season. Peace.